Hi, friends. Hey, it's Romania Black. I may have recorded Volume 9 last night. I couldn't wait. I'm gonna be out. Here's my excuse. I'm gonna be out of town the next week, and I was like, well, I could wait till I get back to record Volume 10, or I could record it now. So I couldn't wait. Volume 9 was so good. It was so good. And I was like, oh no, this manga is going to be amazing. And I was like, So I'm going to go ahead and record Volume 10 because Tae-Jun, and I've pulled up the cover and I'm going to show you all in a minute, but it's Tae-Jun and Yona. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Tae-Jun, what? His character just coming out of nowhere. Like, he was just kind of this prick snob side character that I thought, he had his thing where he tried to capture Yona and then she fell off the cliff with Hawk and he felt terrible about it. And I thought his character was pretty much done for a long time after that. I figured we'd come back to him, but not like this, and not with him being obsessed with Yona. Like, what? So before we start, I did find some information out about the OVAs, right? So we're starting on chapter 53, I think was the last chapter we looked at, chapter 53. And I figured out that there is an OVA that takes place after chapter 70. So probably not this volume, maybe not volume 11, but could be volume 12 or after volume 12. That's exciting. So it's apparently an OVA that is covering chapter 70.5 that happens after chapter 70 into 71. So basically when we get to the end of chapter 70, then we'll watch the OVA. So if it's volume 13 when that happens, we'll just read up to chapter 70 and then I'll stop the reaction. We'll watch the OVA and then go back. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited. And then the other two OVAs take place between chapters 101 and 105. So that's going to be a while away. So we are going to get to the OVAs. But again, I feel like, because there were some people that were like, oh, well, you can go ahead and watch them. And I'm like, I could, but I really like the idea of going into this with the context of the manga to help with the OVAs. Because even if it's okay for anime-only viewers to watch, I want to go in with the context of what's happened in the manga. And that'll just add to it. It'll just make it more interesting. So, yeah. Volume 9 was great, and now I'm really excited for Volume 10, so I was like, I got myself a cup of tea in case my throat gets scratchy, and I was like, we need to watch this. We just need to watch it. So that's where we are. But yeah, let's do this. I'm pretty excited. I realized in the last recording that when I use my little recorder here, I have a little camera thing out to the corner so that when I do my countdown, I can sync it up. And that was getting in the way of part of the reaction. So I've moved it over. So that should help out a little bit. But, oh, y'all, I'm so excited. But yeah, let's start Volume 9. Let's start Volume 10. We just finished Volume 9. Let's do Volume 10. We're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1, and... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is amazing. This manga is amazing. Did Tae-Jun just become one of my favorite characters? Did Tae-Jun of all people just become one of my favorite characters in this series? Oh my god. I feel like the mangaka loves drawing him. I feel like the mangaka loves drawing Tae-Jun because his expressions in this, he has to be the sword or the shield. I just feel like he's the sword or the shield. One of those two. Oh my god. I just feel like he has to be, right? Oh my gosh. This volume was so good. Oh my gosh. So Zeno! We're going to talk about this. We did not get a lot out of the dragons this volume. This was really Tae-Jun's volume. This was really Tae-Jun turning around. Tae-Jun went through the Yona treatment this volume. He completely changed. He had a complete 180 from his previous self. He's completely changed things around. Oh my gosh. I am just floored. I am floored. And it was so wonderful seeing him. But he has to be the sword of the shield because he has this intense devotion to her that is almost otherworldly. And we got this talk about the fire tribe being descendants of the red dragon, the original dragon. There's something up with that. like, what does that represent? And, oh my gosh, and Yona looking kind of like the Red King. But yeah, Tae-Jun, the mangaka, loves drawing him. Like, his expressions in this volume were amazing. I loved him in this. And he's just so outrageous. And there's clearly no chance between him and Yona. Yona clearly views Tae-Jun as a friend. But Tae-Jun is so enamored with her and obsessed with her. And just protecting her and doing right. And it's so genius how Tae-Jun has changed to benefit the fire tribe. Like he's in a position of power. He can order them to do things. And he's been spoiled this whole time like Yona was at the beginning. And he just didn't think there was anything he needed to do. And Yona takes him around to all the villages and she's like, don't you see how bad things are? There's something, she's like, we can't do anything. We're wanted criminals. We're just pretending to be bandits because that's the only option we have. She's like, but we're not getting anything done. Like last volume, we saw how being the bandits kind of was a bad thing. And here she's like, nothing's going right. What are we supposed to do? Oh my God. And so Tae-Jun's perfect for this. Like he's in a position of power. And I feel like Hook-Chi knows what's up, but he's not saying anything because he thinks that Tae-Jun has taken a turn for the better. And he wants to help see the kingdom get better. So he's just not saying anything. He's like, it's fine. I'll just go with this. But oh my gosh, this volume. So him just posing as a villager and them all thinking he's an old man. And then like his soldiers being inspired by him because he risked his life to save Kilson. And oh my gosh. And the flare, like he's so innocent. There's something innocent about Tae-Jun. Like he just has this innocent determination. He's kind of like Yona, right? He's kind of like Yona. He like overreacts and he's really expressive, but he's like, he has a good heart. It's just he didn't realize all these people were suffering. God, the expressions on him, though. They were so good this volume. So I want to go back and read the mangaka's side notes in the volume as we go. I'll probably do that from here on in. The mangaka side notes, I'll probably go back at the end of the discussion and read. But so on page, whatever page it is, we're like on page 22. The first box we have here is like, thank you very much for picking up volume 10 of Yona of the Dawn. This is the first time one of my series has reached a 10th volume. Joy! I'd like to give a huge shout out to all my supporters and assistants and everyone in the editorial office. This momentous volume is a Tae-Jun story, but I hope you won't be reluctant to read it. LOL. This time for the cover art, I used acrylic gouache. I had to apply several coats of paint to get it right, so it took a long time, but it was a lot of fun. Recently, I ordered some Holbein gouache, so I'd like to experiment with that too. I'm Hook-Chi with T, and gouache is an opaque watercolor paint. So, oh wow, so several layers of watercolor? Girl! I love it. But yeah, so Zeno! No spoilers, but Zeno is mysterious. Zeno is, of all the dragons in this volume, Zeno is there the most. And Zeno seems very onto Tae-Jun's change. And he, like, as the ginger broth thing goes, him saving the water, Zeno is so mysterious because he's so childlike, but at the same time he has these brief snaps where he just does these like things like grabbing the water and doing things where he seems like so much more serious. It's interesting. I think he knows. I think he thinks that Tae-Jun is either the sword or the shield. I think he thinks he's the shield, right? I think he's a shield because he talks constantly about protecting people, about protecting Kilson. He runs towards the flaming arrows to protect Yona. He's going to go around and rebuild all the villages to protect the fire tribe and do what he can. I think he's the shield and Hawk is the sword. Maybe, or we haven't met the sword yet. I think Tae-Jun's the shield though. And that it's been awoken. I think him seeing the fire in Yona's eyes back on the northern mountains awoke that in him. And it's started this urge for him to protect. Because it seems almost unnatural. But yeah, I love it. It's great. And then, yeah, Zeno gets so serious when he's talking about how things are so precious there. And yeah, Tae-Jun, he's like, when he first, after the ginger broth thing, he's like, since you're here, you can have a learning experience, which is what Yona's going to teach him. Take the time to look around. And the next time you come, make sure you bring snacks for everyone. Bye. Yeah, he knows exactly what's up. Mm-hmm. But his reactions to seeing Yona, oh my gosh, like the mangaka drawing him, like he's so enamored with her, right? And then Hawk running, like him envisioning her as an angel, Hawk, like, running into him. It's so great. I love how indifferent Hawk is. He's like, what's up, second son? You nearly killed me last time. How's it going? I love it. I just love it. His expressions are hilarious in this. Like, I'm going back to looking at this volume again, and I'm just dying. Like, Tae-Jun's expressions are just amazing. And he accidentally sets off the flare. Of course he does. And then that's when they take him. And I like that Zeno shows up, and he's like, oh, hey, look, an enemy. Cool, gotcha, spy. Nice. And then that's when they see... And then he asks if Yona's alive. And Hawk at first is like, we can't let him go. If he goes back and tells them about us, then we're done for. He's like, I'd rather kill you than risk Yona's life. And he's like, no, he thinks that Yona's in danger. And he's like, I don't have to see her and I don't have to talk to her, but I just need to know. And the moment he's like, I swear I won't tell anyone. He's like, I've sinned so dreadfully and I drove her to her death. The moment he's like begging to see her, that's when Zeno comes in. And Zeno's like, yep, the young lady's livelier than any of us. Zeno's the one to tell him that. I think Zeno knows what he is. I think Zeno knows that he's either the sword or the shield. And he's like, yep, we found you. But we're going to come back and get you whenever we need you. But right now, you need to stay and help the fire tribe. We'll come back and get you when we need you. And just his face, he's so happy. He's so happy that she's just alive. And him just seeing her and prostrating himself before her. And then he's so grateful that she's there. Mm-hmm. Yep. And everybody's just kind of looking at him. I love it. And so then the thing of it is that they ask him, they're like, would you betray your tribe to save Yona? And he would. That's the thing that makes me think he's a sword of the shield. He would sacrifice his brother and his father's loyalty to save Yona and them. And I'm like, that's not just something normal. There's something to that. There is something to that. Him saying, I don't mind if you kill me. And then when she's like, look at me in the eye, and he's just like a slobbering mess. Oh my gosh. And that look on page 62, that look, Zeno's just, he's a slobbering mess. And he's like, I don't know why I'm saying this and doing this. I'm so confused. And Zeno's just sitting there like, I know why. Zeno knows. Zeno knows about the sword and the shield. And the thing is, Zeno wasn't with the group when they asked Iksu about it. He wasn't with the group. So I'm like, Zeno knows exactly what the sword and shield do, that he knows when they're coming. And I bet he knows that Tae-Jun is one of them. Because he's just so pleased as punch throughout all this. Oh my gosh. And she releases him and she orders him to do something and he does it. Yeah. And when she smiles, she's like, I'll be watching. Show us your good faith. Yeah. And I like that Jaeha says, wow, Tae-Jun's a lot like you, Kija. He kind of is. He really is. Because Kija has this very, like, devout loyalty towards Yona. Kija, it's funny. You have Hawk is similar. I don't know exactly how Hawk is similar to Sina and Zeno, especially Zeno. Zeno's such a mystery character right now still. I guess Hawk is similar to Sina in that he can get that, like, bloodlust when he fights. I guess that's how him and Sina are similar. They kind of have that, like, bloodlust that Sina gets from the Blue Dragon, and Hawk has that prowess as a warrior. I guess that's how they're similar. And then Hawk and Jaeha are very similar in their personalities, in them being flirty, like how they, like, handle and view situations. Like, they're very similar. And then Hawk and Kija are similar in that they are both extremely devoted towards protecting Yona. They're like the first ones to stand up if Yona's in trouble. And Tae-Jun is very similar to Kija in that regard. Like Hawk is not utterly devoted to Yona to the point where he, like, falls over himself. Kija can get that way sometimes, and I feel like Tae-Jun is very similar to Kija in that regard. Like, he just utterly is devoted to her without question. It's great. But that shot of him running to atone, that shot of him, I will protect you, and running towards the arrows, that was amazing. Like, that shot of him and saying, I will protect you. So I feel like that's him as a shield. I don't know, and it may not be it, but it just seems like he's one of them. And then from then on, he's like, I could never capture you. And then he says he's not going to see her again, but then I love that he's just dazed. He's like, I have to see her again. And he finally, at the end of the volume, I was afraid that he would not be happy with her leaving. But one, she says she's coming back. And two, she says, you have a job to do while I'm gone. She gives him an order to keep rebuilding the fire tribe nation while she's away. And he's like, okay, I can do this. And it's genius. Her showing him around the village, making him see everything that she's learned up until this point. Everything Yona's learned over the last 9 volumes, she's teaching to Tae-Jun in this one. And showing him the responsibility that they, as officials, have to helping the village. And Tae-Jun, I love you. And it's Yoon's plan. It's Yoon's plan that he sets up. They're chasing the bandits, and he's setting up outposts as they go, and they're rebuilding the village as they go and making it better. And then they're like, well, job's here's done. I guess we didn't say Yona, and then let's go on to the next village and see if we find them there. And it's slowly helping the Fire Kingdom get better. It's so good. I love it. And I love just how Tae-Jun, he sees how great Yona is. And I love Hook-Chi too. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but I love him too, that he realizes how Tae-Jun is changing. And he decides to go along with it because he thinks it's a good change. Because again, these soldiers are all taken from tribes around the kingdom. So they know how bad things are at home, but they think there's no future at their home. So that's why they stay as soldiers. And so the idea of them going around and helping the villages they came from kind of makes sense, right? I feel like Hook-Chi's one of them that does that. Oh my gosh. And him taking the horse and going, it's great. This volume, Tae-Jun grew on me so much, and I instantly fell in love with his character. It's so sweet. And Auntie Melee dying. Her dying, and him getting so mad, saying someday was too late. He's like, we waited too long. If we had done things earlier, we could have changed this, and maybe she wouldn't have died. Like, I love that fire in his eyes when he realizes that. That's so good. And I also love that no matter how hard he tries, Tae-Jun just can't be a good masseuse. He just can't help it. It's just too much. Oh my God. And then, yeah, he realizes his position as the Fire Tribe chief's son and everything that he can do to help. And I love that he changes the soldiers' mindset, where at first they thought that the citizens of the villages that were sick were disgusting. And after the course of everything happening to Kilsun and all that, and Tae-Jun saving him, they gain this appreciation and this understanding, and they start to make things better. It's so good. It's so good. And just, oh my gosh. And I love that at some point towards the end of the novel, towards the end of the volume, Tae-Jun has a relapse moment like Yona, and he feels like he's drowning, and he just wants to run away and go back to his kingdom and just leave everything. But that's when Yona pops back up and has her hand on his forehead. And she's like, it's going to be okay. You did really good. You just overworked yourself. And he's like, I just freaking love Tae-Jun. He's so freaking cute. And he's so sweet. And I didn't think his character would go through this development this volume, but it's been so amazing to watch. And Yona befriending him. Oh my gosh. And so then we have the village reforming and everything, and Zeno doing the juggling act and helping all the villagers. And he's like, people are mirrors. If you smile, they'll smile back. And he's like, Your Highness trusts people like you and keeps them at her side. And then Zeno's like, you got a good expression. And look, all those people have mirrored it. Zeno, and this part here, when Zeno goes, listen, Zeno predicts that you're going to become someone important to Koka. Yeah, Zeno knows what's up. What is this? What is this? He's like, I couldn't say. It's just a hunch. Zeno knows secrets. He knows secrets. I'm so intrigued with Zeno. I need to know more. Okay. It's been such... And then they go back to the song, right? The song of the Crimson Dragon. Long, long ago, when the crimson sun was devoured and darkness fell on the earth, the 4 dragons called to one another and bowed their heads. They bowed their heads to the fire dragon. And so it says that, yeah, the fire dragon is another name for the Crimson Dragon King, which is Hiryu. And the fire tribe are their descendants. And so our tribe, so he's like, what is that what the Crimson Dragon King stood for? Not what the fire tribe's currently doing. It says he was a king, but he loved all the people, and the 4 dragon warriors loved him too. The goal he strove for, the world he envisioned, wasn't a palace or a throne. Didn't he dream of something smaller but more meaningful? And that's what Yona's doing. Yona's doing the same thing that Hiryu did. She's trying to do something small and meaningful just by helping each of the villages that she goes to. God. And yeah, it's just she's the second coming of the fire dragon, right? And then I love that she's like, can I entrust you with this task to protect everyone in the fire tribe? Which is cool, because if that is true, if the original fire dragon came from the fire tribe and they are descendants, then Yona's like, will you protect our blood, our legacy, even though she's not technically from the fire tribe? And he's like, there's no greater honor than to be given that task. And he's like, I don't need to become an important figure. I just hope with all my heart that she'll be happy. Uh-huh. And yeah, I like that Hook-Chi is like, are you prostrating yourself? He's like, why? He's like, we can't return to Psychic Palace until we've captured the Hungry Bunch. We'll probably never go back home, Lord Tae-Jun. Yeah. And he knows. He's like, what did you hear? Mm-hmm. He knows what's up. Oh my gosh. This volume was amazing. It was amazing. And I love it so much. I love Tae-Jun. He's my favorite now. I love him so much. I'm sad this sounds like we're going to be leaving him for a while, because we had this volume to really get attached to his character, and now we're going to leave. But I get why we're leaving. I get it. Damn. This was so good, y'all. This was so good. I'm so happy. But yeah, no big deal. Just fun times. So I hope y'all enjoyed this volume as much as I did. This was amazing. But yeah, I'm so excited. Volume 11 is next. We ended on chapter 59, so I don't think we're covering 10 chapters next volume. So I think that volume 12 or 13, we might get to the first OVA. But, oh, buddy. The mystery with Zeno, the mystery about the sword and shield. Is Tae-Jun one of them? I guess we'll find out. But this volume's amazing. I'm so happy I've started the manga. This is great. So, and the best, I'm sure, is yet to come. So, in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. Let me know down below, but no spoilers. And in the meantime, I'll see y'all soon with more reactions to Yona of the Dawn.